Martin? Maybe finishing another call, but that is okay. We're gonna go ahead and get started. All right.
Hello,
Good
can you hear
morning.
me,
Good morning.
Ms. Cotton?
I can hear you.
There you go. Okay. All right. I don't know if you heard what I just said. Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the technical
Oh,
problem
okay.
here. No. Don't know if you heard what I just said. I'll quickly repeat it. I've been on, trying to sign on here for about 10 minutes, having some gremlins here in the Zoom, getting some progress here on the video. However, I am now speaking to you from my cell. I dialed in on one of the audio connections here. So,
Well, you've joined us, which
audio. All right, it seems there's something slowly coming up here on the Zoom, but I am here.
wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I know there's a lot of information to cover today, and I'm really excited for everyone that's joined us. And just to give a little bit of background for those that don't know me, my name is Elizabeth Cotton. I am the executive director of Black Tech Link. We are a California-based nonprofit organization that focuses on the economic development of Black communities. We do that through workforce development training, small business training, and networking opportunities. Our organization was recently awarded a state of California GO-Biz grant, Governor's Office of Business Economic Development, to provide export training for small businesses that are new to export or may have some export experience. And so throughout this year, we're going to be providing a plethora of information from speakers that are joined today and other speakers as well to share insight and help demystify the exporting process. I know some people may have thought, is exporting for me? Is this something I can do? And I want to say yes. This is definitely something that any small business can do. And we have the resources here to help you. A lot of our speakers here today are the experts in exporting and can provide a lot of information for you. Last week, in the last couple of weeks, we did some preliminary information about what is exporting, how do I export, where do I begin? And I can also share those recordings after this call. But today's topic is going to focus on financing options for exporting. I know when we think of exporting, we're like, ooh, where do I begin? How do I even gain the capital to start that exporting arm of my business, whether you're exporting products or services? And today I'm looking forward to the speakers we have. We're joined today by Eric Stevens of the Export-Import Bank, as well as Cynthia Harris from the Small Business Administration, Martin Salanders from the Small Business Administration as well, and Jonathan Gasca, who's also from the state of California GO-Biz office. And before we begin, I want to provide the opportunities for you guys to share a little bit information about yourself. Cynthia, why don't we start with you?
I don't do a lot of presentations. So, good morning. I'm Cynthia Harris. I'm with the U.S. Small Business Administration. I'm the acting lender relations specialist, and also I have a side duty of district international trade officer. So I'm here to help you navigate our programs, and I'll be sharing a little bit more about what we have to offer later in the program.
Martin, why don't you go ahead and share?
Very good. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Still trying to get on the Zoom here. Ms. Cotton, it's going slowly here, but nonetheless, hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Martin Sealander. I'm also from the SBA. Good morning, Cynthia. I'm from our International Trade Division up north in Irvine, Orange County. I'm a loan officer, international trade specialist in our International Trade Division. SBA, we have some specific financing programs designed to and promote and assist small business exporters. So that's kind of my focus, and I'm looking forward to briefly providing some information momentarily on those financing programs. Thanks, Ms. Cotton.
Thank you. Eric, why don't you go ahead and share?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Stevens. I'm the Director of Minority and Women-Owned Business in the Export-Import Bank of the United States, better known as XM. Within our particular division, we focus on working with minority women-owned businesses to actually help them facilitate exporting by making available export credit insurance products as well as counseling. If you're not ready for XM, we'd like to make sure we take a look at where we can help you in regards to getting ready. And look forward to sharing that information with you today.
Awesome. I'm excited as well. And Jonathan, go ahead and please share.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Gasca. I'm with GO-Biz, where I work as the International Trade Analyst, and along with the Export Program Manager, Mariana Guevara, we administer the State Trade Expansion Program, also known as STEP, a grant intended to help small businesses export. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I know these speakers have a lot of information to share today, and so we're going to start with the SBA, who's going to share information about their financing programs, and then we're going to move along to the Export-Import Bank, who will also share information, and then we'll be conclude with the California STEP program, where Jonathan will share. Let me go ahead and pull up these slides. Let's see. You. All right. You see my screen okay?
So these are my slides. This is Cynthia Harris, and oh, next slide. Sorry. So SBA encourages small businesses to go global, mainly because the majority of the world's consumers are outside of the United States. So it's a very good market for you, and it's not as hard as you may think. Next slide. So these are just some of the statistics that we have for businesses that can capitalize on international sales, and nearly 98% of American exporters are small businesses, accounting for a third of the United States' over 2 trillion export value, and exporters experience greater business growth when they can be more financially stable if they work outside of the United States, or in addition to the United States. It just expands your market further than what's available here locally in the United States. Next slide. So some of the things that these are just some of the things that might be holding you back in venturing into exporting, and SBA can help you with all of these different issues. Sorry, next slide. So to start with business intelligence, SBA can help you with this. We have a fast track service that can help you get started. And you can set up an appointment directly with our fast track team, international trade team within SBA, and you can use those numbers at the bottom. And then also we have local resource partners such as the Small Business Development Center and SCORE that do free business counseling and training. Some of their training has a little bit of a fee, but most of it's free. And so you can connect with your local assistance programs using that link in the bottom there, the sba.gov/local assistance, and find your local small business development center and or SCORE, and they can help you. We actually in San Diego have the World Trade Center as part of our small business development center team, so they can work with you directly on getting started in exporting. Next page. So another program that we have, which will be covered for the state of California, is our STEP program, which is a grant program that can help small businesses. Oh, did I go too far? Oh, sorry. um, okay, SBA trade tools. So if you're interested in doing things on your own, you can use our trade tools webinar, or sorry, our trade tools system that can help you navigate some of the different things that you need to do to get started in exporting. And I can help you with this on the side too, if you need assistance navigating that system. Next page. So our STEP grant, the California version of it will be discussed today, so I won't go into detail on that. But if you're in another state or territory within the United States, you can go to sba.gov/STEP and find your local state organization or state that can help you with this, navigate this program. And each, like it says in here, each state will have their own program and will utilize these different eligibility functions of the program to assist you. And there is funding available through this program for the small business in addition to the funds that are given to the state to run the program. So again, you'll hear more about that from Jonathan later. Next. And then SBA can help you navigate some of your financing challenges with our loan programs, and Martin will be discussing those. So stay tuned for that. Next page. And then this is just an overview of all the different resources that are available. And I'll put these in the chat after I'm done speaking so that you have them available for you. And then you can go to SBA Trade Tools, sba.gov/trade tools for more information about SBA's export assistance programs, and or call me or send me an email and I will help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for sharing that information. And if you can, Cynthia, if you can put your information in the chat so everyone can have that and so they know where to go. And thank you for setting it up for Martin to come and speak. I'm gonna stop my share. Give me one moment. Okay.
I am still here. Ms. Cotton, I'm sorry, am I next?
Yes, I was just making sure I'm grabbing your slides right now.
Thank you. Yes, I was going to say, I'm just having a devil of a time here on the Zoom. So thank you. If you have my slides, I'll be flying behind here. Maybe if I can respectfully ask you to guide through my slide presentation, we'll try and make it work here.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna go ahead and get started right now. Let's see. Oops.
So sorry, let me know when you have that up. But while Ms. Cotton is getting my slides ready, I'll jump on in. Again, I'm Martin Sealander. I work with Cynthia. I'm in Orange County at our SBA Export Assistance Center from the SBA Office of International Trade. And we're one of the 3 federal agency partners at the U.S. Export Assistance Center network, along with our friends from Export-Import Bank, who you'll hear from in a moment, and our friends at the United States Department of Commerce Commercial Service, which is a federal agency that focuses more on international trade marketing and promotion support, American companies with market research, market intelligence, helping companies to identify and to break into new, potentially profitable export sales markets. So a terrific partner for SBA and EXIM. So, I'm a loan officer, international trade specialist with our Office of International Trade, and we have a few SBA export lending programs, as I said, to support and promote exporters. So, we're behind time here, so I'll try and bounce through this quick and be respectful to our other speakers. I'm sorry, Ms. Cotton, do you have my slides up?
I do have your slides up.
Okay, all right, very good. So again, sorry, we're flying blind here.
No worries, we're here to help.
Okay, from the government, we're here to help. Okay, so let's see, the first slide there would just have today's date and such. If we bounce to the second slide there, would have my name and contact info. All right, do we have that?
Yeah, we do have this.
All right, so there's probably the most important information I can give you if anybody wants to reach out to me afterward. The third slide, if any of you are attending from out of town, we have a SBA trade specialists in about 18 or 20 export assistance centers around the country. So there's some local contact information from my colleagues around the country, but feel free to reach out to me or Ms. Cotton or Cynthia, we can point you in the right direction. Sorry, if you can bounce to the next slide, which should have some statistics there regarding our export loan guarantee. Sorry, trying to get my system going here. Our loan productivity for the year, over 500 million in export financing last year. And briefly, we have 3 different financing programs that I'm going to try to run through here. Our working capital program, you see there in red, that's our flagship program, up to $5 million financing to provide essentially a contract-based purchase order type financing. Our international trade loan, a long-term financing to support the fixed asset acquisition, generally speaking. And then third there in the blue, our express loan, which is sort of a hybrid of the two, designed to provide financing support for smaller loan requests. And then there's a little teaser for you on the STEP grant, but we'll pass through that and hand that off to our friends from the California GO-Biz. So the next slide should make a reference to indirect exporters. And so Any of you who are not necessarily exporters of record, if you're in the supply chain, you are eligible for support under these export finance programs. So if you're, as I said, someone in the supply chain, you're providing some sort of component or raw material, you're selling to an American company, they are subsequently taking that item and incorporating that into some sort of product that they are going to export. If we can justify and document that, even though you're selling to a domestic company, it's a domestic sale for you, you could be eligible for support under these programs. Okay, next
That's
slide.
really
Thank
great
you. Our export,
information.
our next slide, export working capital loan highlights. I'm sorry, do we have that?
Mm-hmm.
So all of our SBA financing assistance, all of our business lending is coordinated through our loan guarantee authority, which means we are not a bank, but we work in partnership with local participating lenders. We provide our federal SBA guarantee on the bank loan or the bank credit line made to your company. So the bank provides the financing. SBA is on the sideline once we've approved our guarantee, meaning that heaven forbid, somehow in the future, if you were to default on the loan, heaven forbid, then SBA would step in, take over the loan, pay off the lender up to the extent of our guarantee. So the lender is under less risk, more willing to approve the financing for you in the first place. So you are the customer of the bank. Bank is the customer of SBA. Very oversimplified SBA 101 there. All of our different lending programs have different maximums. There's never any minimum amount, but every loan has different maximum. Our working capital program here, as you see, is up to $5 million. And our programs have different levels of guarantee authority. So this program and the other two I'm going to get to shortly, we potentially offer up to a maximum 90% guarantee coverage to the lender. This is more relevant to the bank than it is to you, the borrower. But the point here is this is the highest guarantee that we offer in any of our business lending programs. Some of our domestic programs only offer guarantees as low as only 50%. So offering a higher guarantee here. So one of the ways we're trying to provide some incentive to the lenders to support and promote export financing and look more favorably upon those financing requests. So the working capital loan, again, as you see there, $5 million can be set up as a asset-based type facility or transaction-based type facility. We'll get it more into that in just a second. We can support one specific single identifiable export transaction, or we more commonly set up a revolving credit facility that can support multiple transactions throughout the year. And also this financing can be used to support say a performance bond or advance payment guarantee. If you're selling to a foreign buyer, they want to protect themselves. Maybe they've given you a cash down payment or something, so they want to protect their interest in the event if you're not able to deliver. So we can work with this program to provide bonding or under a standby letter of credit to support that need. The eligibility there, a couple of quick comments. There's a lot more to it, but generally speaking, this program is not really designed for newer startup types of companies. We generally like to see you have a little bit of track record behind you, ballpark, give or take a year or so in business, and that you generated some revenue so that we're comfortable that you're going to be able to perform on the export sales contract. Other eligibility issues, we have certain size standards you need to adhere to. There's a New York Manhattan phone book listing of different eligibility type issues that you need to adhere to for any SBA loan, but we'll move along. We won't get that deep into the weeds. So the next slide there, I'm making a reference to the structure either of a transaction-based financing tool or an asset-based tool. And the next slide, just to clarify the difference there on a transaction-based facility. So we're providing purchase order financing support with the export working capital. So you've got an order in your hand, a contract, a letter of credit, but you need cash to pay your costs to purchase raw materials, inventory, supplies, pay your vendors. So you're going to be able to perform and deliver. So we can provide this financing under export working capital, essentially just lending to you against a piece of paper, against a contract, purchase order, letter of credit. We need to see specific evidence of the sale. So you need to show us documentation that you do have a sale. You see their evidence by a purchase order, letter of credit, or contract. And we need to carefully understand the payment mechanism from your foreign buyer. When you deliver and the foreign buyer pays, that money immediately comes back to us to retire this loan. So this is a very short-term facility, and as you see, they're self-liquidating. The repayment coming from the collection of the proceeds from your foreign buyer. And last comment regarding collateral, you'll see there, please, on the next slide. Ms. Cotton, specifically talking about collateral, always a popular question with SBA lending. So we're just specifically financing your export sales transactions. So at a minimum, what we require collateralization of the assets that are related to the export sale. So whatever nuts and bolts or inventory are being purchased with this money, we want a collateral lien on that. Most importantly, B, there you see an assignment of the future payment proceeds from the foreign buyer, letters of credit, or foreign accounts receivable if you're selling on open account terms. SBA always requires a personal guarantee from the business owner on any of our business lending programs. If you own 20% or more of the business stock ownership, you're required to offer a personal guarantee. But 99 times out of 100, that's an unsecured guarantee. So we very rarely are looking toward any outside collateral. For example, a lien on your house. Our collateral requirements for the export program, much more flexible, liberal, and user-friendly compared to some of our standard SBA domestic lending programs. Next slide there, talking about interest rates and fees. So interest rate under this program, this is negotiable between you and your lender. So we encourage you to check around, shop around with lenders. Generally, what we see are variable rates tied to the Wall Street Journal Prime, which prime rate right now is 7.5. And a lender also is going to charge some kind of a packaging fee or to cover their own overhead costs. So again, we certainly encourage you to shop around. There's one fee that SBA charges to our borrowers called our guarantee fee. Presently, for any SBA loan under $1 million, there is no fee being charged. Otherwise, though, for this program, the fee is 0.25% of the SBA share of the loan. So there you see an extreme example I have at the bottom, a $5 million loan, one-time fee payable upon loan approval, a little over $11,000. And then next slide, talking about asset-based type of a structure. So a case where we're not necessarily financing a specific transaction that you have in hand, but rather you're an exporter, you have a pool of assets on your balance sheet, you have foreign accounts receivable that you're waiting to collect, or inventory in your warehouse that's designated for shipment for export sale. So we can use this collateral, set up a collateral borrowing base, and then we're able to advance financing to you based upon the value of that outstanding export-related collateral. The next slide, talking about some of the, that was our final slide on the working capital program, and I'm going to try to pick up the pace here. I know we're behind here, Ms. Cotton. Next slide, to talk about our international trade loan. Sorry, do we have the right slide there?
Yeah, we have the right
Sorry,
slide up.
very good. Okay, I'm sorry. So second program of the three, our international trade loan. So this loan, exact opposite of the working capital loan. This, again, $5 million, but this is designed to provide long-term financing. So as you see there, long-term financing for businesses engaged or preparing to engage in exporting. We need to see, it's not to finance a transaction, but we need to see somehow that money will be used to assist your company to expand into a new market or expand your presence in an existing export market. There's no specific quantifiable sales amount, export sales amount required, so certainly you could be involved in domestic operations as well. We're not specifically financing any one specific contract. We need to see some sort of a brief business plan or a written narrative and some financial projections justifying somehow how this money is going to assist you to improve your competitive position internationally. So on the next slide, hypothetically, some of the ways we can support a company: long-term financing for real estate acquisition. If you need to build a factory, buy a warehouse, something like that, SBA can provide up to 25 years amortized financing for real estate acquisition or leasehold improvements. If you are leasing a facility, or acquisition of heavy machinery or equipment that you might be using in the day-to-day operation of your company. Generally, those loans could be approved up to the maximum useful life of that heavy equipment, 10 to 15 years. Permanent working capital or debt refinance, if eligible, up to 7 to 10 years, full amortization. The real benefit here is all those terms that you see. There's really no way a commercial lender without an SBA guarantee would consider approving such a lengthy loan for these types of purposes without an SBA guarantee covering it. You'd be looking more at a very short loan with say, a balloon payment, maybe due in 3 or 5 years. So one of the ways that our guarantee benefit you. The next slide, there's some information there on interest rates. So unlike the other program, working capital, we do have some maximum limits on interest rates that lenders can charge. Once again, encourage you to shop around. Generally speaking, the smaller the loan amount, the higher the interest rate the lender would be able to charge. Okay, and finally, to wrap it up here quickly, our third of the 3 programs, our Export Express loan. Sorry, Ms. Cotton, do we have that slide? The SBA Export Express. This loan is, oh, thank you, sorry. Okay, wrap up, last couple of slides here. This program, I mentioned that there's never any minimum amount for SBA loans. If the lender is willing to work with you and interested, we'll take a look at anything they send us. Different programs have different maximums. This program limited to only $500,000, as you see there. In the grand scheme of things, that's considered a pretty small loan by our standards. With the Express program, trying to provide some incentive to the lenders to be more receptive to these smaller loan requests. So how do we provide that incentive? Next slide. There are no SBA application forms under our Express program. We simply allow the lenders to use their own commercial lending documentation. Whatever they'd use for a non-SBA loan is good enough for us. Also, there's no SBA underwriting or credit analysis there. With the Express program, we trust the lenders to follow our guidelines, understand our rules and eligibility requirements. We essentially give them a rubber stamp. If they've reviewed it internally and approved it, it's essentially a done deal. They will just log on to a secure portal system, transmit some data to us, and SBA will immediately assign a loan number, and you're ready to close and get your money. And the next slide, talking about use of proceeds. So this is the most flexible program. It could be set up as a term loan or potentially a revolving credit line facility, as long as we can justify somehow the money will be used to support and promote your international trade endeavors. So there's some hypothetical examples, maybe some working capital or credit line facility to assist you working with our friends from the U.S. Department of Commerce for some of the fee-based programs that they might charge you to for your exporting. Marketing costs to travel to an international trade show, for example, translate your product literature, your website into a foreign language, any of those kind of costs, perfectly eligible. Could hypothetically even be used for real estate acquisition. Again, $500,000 maximum, doesn't buy too much here in California, but hypothetically could be eligible, or acquisition of machinery or equipment, just like our international trade loan. And for smaller export transactions, this could be used as a transaction-based facility. I've seen loans as small as, or credit lines as low as $20,000, even $10,000 approved under our Express program. So it is to, again, to provide incentive to the lenders to be more receptive to those smaller loan requests. And then moving on, Ms. Cotton. So I have a couple of slides here on our SBA STEP grant that my colleague Cynthia referenced, and we do have a speaker coming up from the California GO-Biz office, so respectfully defer to him. I know I've gone way over time. I don't want to steal any of his thunder, so we'll pass through these grant slides. But the final slide, if you can jump ahead 3 or 4, there's slide number 23. Again, there's my contact info, the final slide. So there's my phone, my cell number, my email. Welcome. Encourage anyone to reach out. There's certainly a lot more detail to everything, and I had to go through it there kind of quickly. So look forward to assisting in the future or answering questions here later. So I'll hand it back to you, Ms. Cotton. Thank you for your patience.
No, thank you so much for sharing. That was really good information about the loan opportunities that SBA has to offer. I definitely want to talk to you as we work with new to export companies about the Export Express program to see how potentially small businesses can qualify for that.
Okay, look forward to that later, offline. Awesome.
Absolutely. Okay. So thank you again for our colleagues from the SBA. Up next, Eric Stevens from Export Import Bank. We're excited to have you. And let me go ahead and give me one moment. There we go. All right.
All right, and I just sent a request to share my slides, or would you like to advance them?
Now you have provided you access.
Okay. And hopefully you can see my screen right now.
Yes, yes, we can.
All right, fantastic. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time this morning to sit down with us and have a great conversation about how we can improve your export community. I mean, when I say community, what it basically amounts to, nobody exports by themselves. Having a community of not only XM Bank, the SBA, our colleagues from Martin. Martin, good to hear your voice. I know I haven't seen you in about a year or so, as well as other colleagues from a commercial service, give you that opportunity, though, that toolbox you need to export. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. Now, first and foremost, once again, my name is Eric Stevens. I'm with XM Bank, the Export-Import Bank of the United States. A lot of people don't know we're an official government agency. We have about 300 to 400 individuals who work primarily in the goal of maintaining and creating U.S. jobs by the growth of exports. Now, we work specifically where we don't actually counteract with the private sector. We work in conjunction with them. A lot of times when they can't do it, we can. And the reason the export credit agencies is so important, a lot of people don't know there are 112 export credit agencies across the world. Each country basically has an agency that works on behalf of their businesses to make sure they have the resources as well as the capital to export. And that's what XM does for our United States businesses. Now, we was established in 1934. A lot of people don't know we were established during the time of a number of government agencies were actually created. We were created the same year as HUD, SEC, some of the larger agencies, but being the fact that we're such a small agency, a lot of people don't know we exist until you actually need us. And what we do. Now, the equity, diversity, and inclusion are so important to XM. We have a particular division, which I'm part of, Minority and Women-Owned Business Division, which works specifically with the minority community, making sure they have the access and the resources to be successful. And how do we do that? By ensuring the equitable distribution of services. Talking to crowds or people just like yourself. How can we help? Explaining how XM can be available. Talking about community awareness and also nurturing clients who might not be ready for XM services and making sure their ware's available regionally or locally right there in your own city. Now, why should you export? Quite simply, business growth and diversification. Now, some of the things that make it a little bit easier when it comes to that is minority groups sometimes have a connection to a particular country where it might be a little bit easier. You have access to more consumers. And I'll give you one huge number a lot of people don't realize. 95, that's right, 95% of the actual people live outside the United States. And we're going to talk about a little bit later about why only people do not export. Now, how do we help? We improve competitiveness, and how do we do that? Ensuring your export receivable. And what that basically means when you actually ship something basically or export to a buyer outside the United States, we ensure that receivable to make sure you're getting paid. Now we also do financing as well. We have export credit insurance. And from some of our larger applications or businesses, we do have international buyers where they can actually borrow money directly from XM to pay for Americans' goods or services. Now, we talked about that number a few seconds ago, 95%. So only 5% of the world's population live in the United States. When you think about that, that's an increasingly large amount of people outside the United States who might be ready for your goods or services. So if you're limiting yourself just domestically, you're limiting your ability to grow. And it's a simple four-letter word. Where only 1% of companies actually export risk. And that's what XM here we do. We're here to actually eliminate that risk or reduce the risk by making export credit insurance and other programs available for you. Now, one of the things we've actually incorporated on the course of the last year, we have a product specifically designed for the underserved business community. It's a policy that covers international buyers to open credit terms. And one of the great things about this particular policy as well, and when I say open credit terms, just to make sure I clarify myself in regards to that, you're able to sell on terms 60, 90, 120 days with that particular borrower or actual purchaser has the opportunity to pay you on time, which can open up a large amount of borrowers because of the fact that it gives an opportunity to actually sell your product or service prior to making all the payment. Now, this particular policy we've had it in place for about 6 months, and it's great because it's up to 95% of your actual purchase price. Now, what that basically means is that if you say for instance, you sell it for $10,000, you receive a policy with XM, we'll cover up to 95% of that. So it gives you an opportunity to make sure that you feel comfortable actually selling on terms and working with people outside the country. Now it has no deductible, and we actually service it in-house with our representatives here, and you only have to utilize this particular policy when you're ready to ship. For instance, with our policies for our homes and our cars, we pay them on a monthly basis or quarterly or what have you. With this particular policy, you only pay when you ship. So if you ship this month and don't ship it again for another 6 months, it's no premium due. Now, the qualifications are quite simple. Show the verification of being a women and minority-owned business, a minority, a veteran, even rural and disability-owned businesses. Now, Martin talked a little bit about small business administration, what's defined as a small business. We go by those same criteria. Now, one of the most important things if I can leave this call today, is make sure that you have an actual SAM.gov registration, a UEI number, a unique identifier number. And one of the great parts about that is XM is one of the only agencies that actually work with our actual customers to help them attain UEI numbers. We have a team, our CC unit is dedicated to make sure that we also help you maintain that UEI number. Now, how does EQS work? So you're actually identifying an international buyer. You provide credit terms for your buyer. You offer credit terms, and international buyer says, great, I'd love to be net 90. Wow, that's a great deal. Now the company ships your product and they basically pay you within the 90 days. If they don't pay you within 90 days, you're able to go through the actual process where you actually file a claim, and we'll help you work with that and make you whole up to 95%. Now, the great part about that is what we'll do after that particular point is done, that it doesn't affect you if you actually file a claim. A lot of times from an insurance standpoint, what happens is you think about filing a claim and you're like, oh my gosh, my rate's going to go up. You're going to cancel me. No, that's not the fact of what we actually do in XM. We're here to help you. That's the safety net we're able to provide for you. Now, we also have working capital loans. Working capital loans are basically, as I said, it allows you to unlock the cash flow potential. Right now, SBA also has these type of loans. Exim works in conjunction with SBA. A lot of times, the SBA loans are really the starter ones you need when it's less than $500,000. A lot of the XM working capital loans do go in the area of 10,000, well, excuse me, $100,000 to basically all the way up to millions of dollars. We really have no limit on our loans, so we work in conjunction. Now, the export credit insurance, as I talked about a little bit earlier, there's three main benefits of this tool. Risk protection, which means you actually lower your amount of actually risk because you're actually able to utilize that, so you will get paid. Sales tool, and we talked about 30, 60, 90 days. It gives you the ability to sell on terms. And the third, and probably the most beneficial reason for a lot of small businesses, you can obtain additional financing because this instance is the government insured receivable. It can be used as collateral with the bank to borrow additional funds. So that increases your capital base by being able to do that. And quick infographic, I won't go too much in detail, but you actually see an international buyer, you offer credit terms, they accept your terms, you ship your product, you pay your premium, and when the buyer pays you, it's great. Everybody's happy. You're minimizing risk. You know in the back end that you're going to get paid if something does happen. So it gives you that sense of security, knowing that you actually have the federal government behind you. Now, we actually help with the variety of industries: manufacturing, mining, aircraft. Services is something I want to hone in on. Uh, Service can be exported. Some of the services that are exported right now are legal services, construction services, consulting services. So if you have a service-based business going to be utilized outside the United States, don't disqualify yourself saying, I can't do it. Yes, you can. And just kind of give you a quick example of one of our actual customers. Dr. Wei Shen Lai, a physician, she designed a headset. She came home as a physician and she was tired at night and she wanted to listen to some music to relax. Now, because headphones are bulky, you really can't sleep on it. She designed an actual headphone which gives you an opportunity to sleep when the headphone is on, because it works sort of like a headband. So she actually started working with XM in 2017 after actually shipping to a particular client who didn't pay her. XM steps in on her next shipment. She assures with XM, and everything's good, and there's no problem. The actual people get paid. Working capital guarantees also helped her grow her business by growing her manufacturing base. Now, XM is open in over 180 countries around the world. Now, the reason that we have a country limitation listing is that some countries we're not able to work within. And one of the reasons that we can't work in some countries, it might be the economic situation of those countries. It might be in regards to the banking situation of countries. Now, because we have to have a reasonable risk of repayment when we actually make policies available. And why do we need that risk? Because we're using your money as taxpayers. This is your money, so we have to be very prudent in our approach when we're looking at making sure we can make something available from that standpoint. Now, we do have a few restrictions. We can't do any military products. Now, we do have some actual our obligations or actual things we can use in terms of things you can actually get exceptions. That's drug interdiction is one of those, as well as any type of products that actually might be utilized in regards to dual use. We can actually take a look at that. Now, you must ship from a U.S. port. Why? Because we want to make sure these are U.S. goods being utilized outside the United States. And we do have a content requirement. The content requirement needs at least 50% of that particular product needs to be U.S. made. And the reason we do that is we want to make sure that we're continuing to grow the U.S. jobs. So if you get raw products or materials from outside the United States and you actually come up to 50% by the time you produce them or reproduce them and actually make them into a usable product, that can qualify as well. Now, are you ready to export? Here's the key question I want everybody to ask themselves. Attending things as we've actually doing today, getting that training and counseling so you know where you are in the export process. Work with finding buyers. Our commercial services offices across the United States will help you do that. And the most important piece, get funding. Where can I actually get some funds from? They'll talk a little bit more about the STEP grant and what that's in regards to that, as well as getting funding from maybe local areas. I want you guys take a looking at what's available locally first. Now, when you have an export team available, what they're able to do is make sure you've looked at every resource and build that export toolbox, which you can actually lean upon when you need a particular product or service or advice. Now, we have additional resources, of course. Our Regional Export Promotion Program, better known as REP, is a program that works at the state level. And what they do is make sure we have an understanding of what's available for the state. So when we are talking to different individuals or potential customers, we can tell them and make sure they've taken advantage of their state level resources. Our delegated lenders. Once again, I know that we have the word bank in our name, but we don't actually lend. We're what we call delegated lend. We have delegated lenders, banks who work on our behalf. They have XM's authority to lend on our behalf. Now, we all take a look at social media, so we want to make sure we took a look at the best possible ways to make sure you understand what's available to you. You can follow XM on LinkedIn, Twitter, blog. We're on Facebook, and we also have Instagram accounts. And I'll be more than willing to take any questions so we can help you on your expert journey. Thank you.
That was really great information. Thank you so much,
Thank
Eric.
you.
Um, Definitely want to hold questions till the end and be respectful of everybody's time. But if you do have a question, please go ahead and put it in the chat. And then also, as you mentioned, checking in with local resources first. I'll do a quick plug for an upcoming panel discussion we have called Gaining Access to Capital, where we will have different lenders, banking, small business lenders, micro lenders, talk about opportunities to just gain capital for your business ventures. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. This will be an in-person event in Los Angeles, region San Diego, Riverside County for those that are local to Southern California. Um, and nonetheless, I know a lot of the speakers have been talking about the California STEP grant, which is another resource for funding. And today we have Jonathan Gasca from the California STEP program. And Jonathan, please take it away.
Alrighty, I'm gonna share my slides.
Okay.
Okay, alrighty. So yes, my name is Jonathan Gasca. I'm the international trade analyst at GO-Biz. And this is my first solo presentation. So, uh, thank you. Let's see. How do
You
I?
got
Okay.
this. You got
All
this.
right. So, the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, also known as GO-Biz, serves the state of California um, in terms of in the areas of job growth, economic development, and business assistant efforts as the world's fifth largest economy. I work under the International Affairs and Trade Unit, and this unit focuses on export promotion, foreign direct investment, and immigration integration. Along with Mariana Guevara, who is the export program manager, we administer the STEP grant. So the STEP grant is funded in part through a grant with the U.S. Small Business Administration. I'm happy to announce that this current grant year we were awarded the max amount of 900,000. So there's plenty of funding. Um, and STEP offers financial assistance to eligible California small businesses seeking to expand into foreign markets. Eligible businesses can participate in up to 2 STEP events and be reimbursed for up to 75% of their pre-approved export promotion expenses with a maximum award of $10,000 through the export voucher. And I'll detail some more information on these two ways of using the STEP grant. But first, we'll go over the eligibility. Uh, Applicants must be for-profit businesses. They must be organized or incorporated in the U.S. and have significant operations in California, whether it be a physical like an office or a significant staffing in California. Um, the goods that are exported must be of U.S. origin or have at least 51% U.S. content. And I'll provide a link to our program guideline that has a formula for you to calculate that requirement. Businesses must also meet the Small Business Administration size standards, and this is determined by NAICS codes. NAICS codes can either be found on your IRS tax returns or when you're applying for the grant. We do have a search, and you can search the NAICS code that matches your business. Um, Businesses must be registered and in good standing with the Secretary of State and the Internal Revenue Service, and also must be in business for at least a year before the activity takes place. And this is also a very important and point. The last one that some of the other panelists also brought up. There are costs associated with trade, so we just want to let businesses know that they have to have sufficient resources to associated with the costs associated with trade. So all of the eligibility information can be found at export.business.ca.gov in our grant details section. Our program resources have our program guideline as well as different resources to help complete the application. Now I'll be presenting on STEP events. Uh, These STEP events are export promotion activities led or supported by GO-Biz, and normally they're industry-specific trade shows or trade missions under either a California pavilion or a U.S. Pavilion through the commercial service. Companies are eligible to participate in up to 2 STEP events per grant year. And we operate on the federal fiscal year, so I believe it starts in October and ends in September. Um, the funding for STEP events is usually offered at a reduced participation fee, but it will always be predetermined, and you can find that information on our website. Um, some of the advantages of participating in a STEP event is the reduced cost compared to exhibiting on your own. We heavily reduce the cost of going to a trade show, and for the most part, we offer almost a turnkey service for booths. The California brand also holds a lot of weight abroad, so it's a great way to leverage that brand to bring more attention to your booth. Also, the opportunity to participate in network opportunities with foreign business leaders, and in some events, even business to business matchmaking support. So now I'll share some of our upcoming STEP events. We have Expo Manufactura in Monterrey, Mexico, a show for industry, metal materials. And this one is going to be offered at 2,500. Avalon Air Show in Australia, participation fee of 5,775 to participate to be a part of the California Pavilion. And then Global Energy Show, which we are now taking registration for interest. And then when those applications open up, you'll be the first to know. And all of our events can be found at our website in our events section under the STEP grant information. And like I mentioned, if there is an event where the application is not open yet, just register your interest to be notified when those applications go live. Now I'll be covering information about the export voucher. The export voucher provides a little more flexibility for small businesses trying with their export activities. So it's an individual grant reimbursement for proposed export promotion activities. Funding is competitive, so it's not a guarantee of award every time you apply. And there is reimbursement of up to 75% of the actual expense with a maximum reimbursement of $10,000 per grant year. Just some points to touch on. The applications must be submitted prior to the planned activity. Requests for retro activities, unfortunately, we can't consider them. And there's one application per round or until you reach the $10,000 maximum. Uh, this we have our current round schedule for the current grant year. We are currently in round two. Uh, Applications close February 28th for activities between January 1st and March 31st. What this means is that if you are going to a trade show on March 5th, um, this would be the round you would apply in, and you just need to apply before March 5th. And even if you made the payment a year before, this would be the round you would apply under. Alrighty. And now I'll touch on some of the allowable activities with the STEP export voucher. If there is an international trade show that you are interested in attending but is not a part of our STEP events, that's something we can reimburse for. So it'd be more of you going and setting up your booth yeah. And then another service we offer reimbursement for is U.S. commercial service products. They are the federal agency that assists with trade. They have some great products. I recommend looking into these if you're looking to find partners abroad or other data or information or set up meetings. They can also assist with creating an export plan. So I believe California has the most amount of US commercial service offices, so just go ahead and look and find your local one. Um, Export credit insurance, we can assist with some of the fees associated, whether it's through XM or private credit insurance. And then domestic trade shows. Given that the intention of this grant is export, um, we with domestic trade shows, we need to see that the show has a strong international presence, and that you have kind of done your homework and maybe set up meetings with incoming delegations from another country or potential buyers from abroad. So we require that additional step for domestic trade shows. And there is a cap of $5,000 per grant year. So just something to note. Compliance testing and product registration. If you're entering a new market and they require any type of certification fees, product registration, or maybe I know some companies that are entering the Canadian market, they are required to update their labels into French as well. We can assist with that with a cap of up to $5,000 per federal fiscal year. Um, Website globalization and e-commerce, another very important tool in exporting. We can help with the translation of websites, local optimization, setting up your e-commerce marketplace to receive orders in that country or market. Another cap of $5,000. And then international marketing materials, if you are going to a trade show or you have meetings abroad or you just want to offer your marketing material in a local language, we can assist with that. And content marketing or email marketing as well. Intellectual property. This one has been very solicited this current round. There's If you are trying to file patents in another country or a Madrid protocol, we can help with those fees up to $2,500. And the last, export research tools. If you have identified a industry report or database that can assist you with your export activity, we provide a reimbursement of up to 2,500. I'm just checking time. Sorry. um, Alrighty, and all of these details can be found in our program guidelines. And I recommend everyone just checking out those guidelines while you're applying, because it does have the eligible costs and then our ineligible costs for each activity. Now I'll be covering some of the ineligible costs through the California STEP grant. Unfortunately, we can't cover any expenses associated with travel or any general business operation expenses. Um, when it comes to international marketing, we don't cover printing expenses either. Um, we cannot cover or reimburse for any activities completed by staff on payroll. So all of these activities need to be completed by third party provide vendors, because we do request an invoice and proof of activity when the reimbursement is requested. Um, Activities solely focused on the domestic market. As I mentioned, the grant is intended for exports, so any activities associated with sales in domestic market wouldn't qualify. Activities being transacted in sanctioned or embargoed countries, and then payments to those affiliated with the company. So if your company has a sister company that does marketing, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to allow that reimbursement. How to prepare. So the first step is to have a strong export plan. You can reach out to some of the resources mentioned by our panelists today. I think that's a great way to start. And then determining the export promotion activity. Um, that whether you're going want to go to a trade show, you are looking to meet with foreign buyers, just having that down is a great second step. Then prepare the STEP grant application. Review the program guidelines and reach out if you have any questions with the application. We also host webinars. I dropped it in the chat, the link, and those are monthly, and we go over the application process and answer any questions that applicants may have. So after you submit your application, it normally takes around 2 weeks to receive notification if you've been pre-approved. After that, you will execute your pre-approved activities and keep any documentation like invoices, receipts, photos, because we will request those at the time of reimbursement. You submit your reimbursement. We review if everything looks good. We'll send it to the accounting team and notify you when your reimbursement check has gone out. Alrighty, and now I'll be sharing some information on our export training program. This is a rather new program, and we've partnered with some organizations throughout the state, including Black Tech Link, which we're happy to have. And yeah, so this is a totally free training for new to export companies or companies that are just trying to freshen up on their knowledge. And every organization has different trainings, so and they're all free, so I recommend checking them all out. And some are in person and some are online. Yeah, just check them out at our QR code or on our website. um, our website can be found here, and if you'd like to get in contact with us, reach out to step@gobiz.ca.gov. And to stay in the loop, I recommend subscribing to our International Affairs newsletter. We have great resources there from GoBiz, the other agencies within GoBiz, and some of our partners. So check it out. And yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that resource. I was going to also mention for if anyone wants to learn more about California STEP program, please get on their newsletter. They have
Mhm.
like every month, I believe they send out like different trade shows that may be applicable to the type of business that you have. Like I remember I saw a trade show for the Caribbean
Mhm.
and you were looking for businesses that focus on hospitality.
Yeah.
And I knew a gentleman who has like he had some type of like a product where it's to kind of cover toilet paper. So it keeps toilet paper like stay safe and
Oh,
clean.
yeah. Mhm.
Thought of that would have been a great trade show for him to
Mhm.
go to. And so, please get on their their mailing list. And
Mhm.
I also want to share like another resource really quickly um on our website. Let's see. So if you go to blacktechlink.org, we have our programs listed. You can click on our small business export program and it shares a little bit about our upcoming workshops that we have. If you want to start your planning journey, export planning journey, you can connect with us. We have some great mentors who can help you develop an export a business plan. And then we also have our resources of a lot of people that spoke on our panel today. Definitely have to get Export Import Bank on our resource page. But we have the State Department, the World Trade Center, San Diego, which Cynthia so kindly also put their information in the chat today. They're the Export SBDC arm, the World Trade Center, San Diego, and then the U.S. Commercial Service. If you need support with those export promotional activities, they make connections to buyers in other countries, depending on your product, and also the California STEP program. And so I can put this information in the chat. You'll also receive this when we send out the recording. And then also, if you just wanted to share, like, if you're a new to export company and need support with your small business, please feel free to schedule some time to chat with us. You can go to our small business mastery program and then, just schedule some time to talk with our exports, whether it's focusing on fundraising, whether it's marketing, real estate, whatever your business focuses on, we can provide some support and connect you with the mentor and advisor. At this time, I know we're getting close to time, and I want to also invite all of the attendees into our call if they want to, have any questions, any comments, they can ask them directly to the speakers. But first, I wanted to say thank you so much for all the speakers for providing such good information. I know I learned a lot, and then as I'm a learner myself. Jonathan, I did have a question for you. Um, I saw that, you provide export uh, grants for businesses that want to go to these trade shows. And I
Mhm.
saw that California has like the booths. Are the businesses underneath those booths that you guys are a part of, or?
Yeah, so with our STEP events, it's usually under a California pavilion. If it's
Mhm.
led by one of our uh, trade representatives, and the booths are under the California banner, the pavilion. So, yeah, it attracts a lot of attention. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm,
And that's a way to like also like, as I imagine, like add credibility, like you mentioned, instead of
mhm.
just um, you know, tabling on your own or exhibiting on your
Yeah.
own and stuff.
And
Wonderful.
normally, those are more like turnkey trade shows for the participant, because they are under the banner. So we kind of take care of the booth situation, and companies pretty much just show up with their logos and marketing, and it makes it a lot easier. And you have the trade rep there with you, or someone from U.S. Commercial to assist with any questions you might have, or yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, okay. Well, this is so great. At this time, I did invite some of the attendees to come in the call, and this would be the perfect time if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to ask away. We have our experts here right now. Did
Wow.
anyone want to share their business?
Yeah.
Pamela, hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for putting this together. This is my first time attending anything regarding exports and what have you, but believe me, for the last year and a half, I have been seriously thinking about how to go about exporting products. There are two things, one under our nonprofit umbrella, and then the second under a new for-profit umbrella. The nonprofit umbrella is more of services, exporting, training overseas, which we did some of that practically last year, but I funded everything out of pocket. And when I say out of pocket, it was a lot of money. And knowing what that services is even something that we could have gotten support for is it's I just, like you don't know what you don't know. So I didn't know that, but now I know and I can understand, okay, so if you want to export tech services, there is an option. So for that, I intend to read more and reach out. But my main question is the thing about 50% of the export and 51%. I was a bit confused there because, for instance, we're thinking of producing here in the US for this new venture, but the resources, like the clay and things that we would use for production would come from abroad. How do you know whether you're falling within that 50% or not? Is there a way we can understand how that works? If you farm outside, bring the raw materials into the US and then you export it. Is that 50% possible?
So I think I can answer this one. So in our program guidelines, we have a formula, and the formula takes into account different factors that go into producing the product. Um, Without like knowing the specifics, I don't know if I could, you know, give any specific information, but I do recommend checking that formula out. And if you want to schedule um, just like a one-on-one with our team, we'd be happy to do that.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Did anyone else have any questions or comments?
This is Brian Ware. I'm one of the executive directors of Bell. We focus on minority and startups and businesses. And this is a great workshop. It was a lot of new information. I second the previous speaker's comments about the services. That's pretty cool to know and learn about there. So thank you for the presentation, to all the speakers, to Black Tech Link for hosting this. We definitely would love to try and bring this back around and bring some more people in the room from our community to learn more about these opportunities. So just wanted to say it was really informational.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We do have an upcoming in-person workshop. Our grant allows us to support Southern California. And so we do have an upcoming workshop in February. The dates will be announced. That'll be in person, where we will bring an exports specialist who can help you with export business planning. Even if you've never, haven't even started, don't know where to begin, this would be a great like webinar or workshop to attend, where we can start those beginning processes. Again, I know a lot of um, attendees may be new to export companies. And so, as Jonathan, Cynthia, Eric, Martin echoed, the first step is getting your export business plan going. And there's a lot of nuances with that, determining which markets to enter and things like that. Also, part of our grant allows us to provide a free market intelligence report. So if you are interested if there's a specific country that you would like to export to, whether it's your products or services, our organization can provide a complimentary export market intelligence plan for you. And please, please, please feel free to reach out to us for that support. We're here to help. We do have some amazing workshops coming up in the near future. Next week, we have a workshop that focuses specifically on intermodal logistics. Now that you've decided if you want to export, it's like, how do I get my product to the next country? And so we're gonna have an amazing shipper. His name's Emmanuel Harris, who's going to talk about um, uh, intermodal logistics, who you need to talk to, whether it's customs broker, freight forwarder. Our program is called Ship, Rail, Road, and everything in between. How to get your business from one port to the next. And so please be on the lookout for that. And again, did anyone have any other questions, comments? We have a few minutes left. Coffee says, how do I sign up for the ship for the upcoming workshop next week? I will send this out. I have everyone's contact information. We'll send that invite out. It's next week on Thursday, the same time, 11:30 to 1 p.m. Thank you so much again for all the feedback. This is our first time doing small business workshops of this type of caliber, and we hope to keep presenting these types of workshops in the future. And I really appreciate our colleagues from SBA, Export Import Bank, and California STEP program for just your expertise and your willingness to support these small businesses. I want to go ahead really quickly uh, I'm going to put my this link in the chat. There we go. Go ahead and please feel free to peruse that website. Our workshop, Kofi, is on that web page. So if you click on that web page, you'll see our upcoming workshop where you can RSVP. Pamela, I saw yet
Yeah.
another question.
Yes, I had another quick question. So while we're working on, I've been working on products and things, I wanted to ask, is there any resource with regards to getting product approvals with FDA?
Mm.
Is that something that we might be able to have a bit of insight to? I've heard so much, and that's kind of the last phase of because we've been in testing phase, but I'm kind of like
Yeah.
hesitant to start that journey without knowing the best approach. So.
Absolutely. Export compliance is a big, big thing in regards to export. That is another workshop that we have coming up in the future. But I wanted to leave that to Cynthia, Martin, Eric. Did you guys have any insight on export compliance?
The Small Business Development Center at the Export or the World Trade Center can help you with that. They can work one-on-one with you on that. And periodically they do offer training on export compliance as well.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, and that link that I put in there, the World Trade Center, also is a resource where you can click in and schedule some time to chat with them as well.
Right. World Trade Center.
One of the great opportunities as well is to work with NASBite International. They have a program called Passport, which gives you an opportunity to take a look at some different classes that are actually free of charge on different export topics. And I believe export compliance is one of them. I'll put it in the link in the chat momentarily.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, this has been great. Like I'm super excited, ready for like the next workshop. And yeah, just like as Jonathan mentioned, we're one of the export training partners, and we're excited to unveil a lot of like workshops, programs, resources in the upcoming year. So thank you again for tuning in. Awesome. Well, I know we're about at time and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Okay, I saw Eric just put the resource in for trade-passport.org, so please check that out as well. And we'll be sending out this recording for everyone. If you missed anything, you can always go back and check it out. And please also, I'll also be sending out a survey and please let us know how we did. Awesome. Well, thank you again, everyone. And
The last thing I see in the chat is the Black Tech link, .org.
okay, I saw that he sent it to the host and panelists. Let me
Okay.
see. Let me see if I can
Fantastic. Thank you.
okay, there we go. It was sent to everyone. Perfect.
Sorry about that.
Hey, thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, you have a great rest of your Thursday, a great rest of your week, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us at the start of the year.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.